Hey guys, it's Rana Jagnil from Those Damn Fangirls here, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a book slash anime review. Basically, I'm going to be recommending good books and anime for beginners, whether that be like you've never watched an anime before or you are not really into fandoms, and then things that you should read after that, all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for a good book to read, this will be a really good video to watch. Now, these are all my opinions, so please don't go saying, oh, this book's horrible, because I probably at least kind of liked it, or it's something that some people do like. So, yeah. So the first book series I'm going to be talking about is Harry Potter. Now, this is a really good beginner fandom, as the fandom is huge. And the books start out pretty good for kids, I'd say, but as they go on, they do get a bit more mature. So it's a good thing that you can really keep reading as you do mature, not like it's good for 8-year-olds, and once you turn 9, you have to find a different book series. It's good for all ages, huge fan base, pretty good movies, but I do recommend reading the books. So if you like magic, adventure, teeny tiny bit of romance, yeah, definitely recommend it. And you can talk to anybody. Most people that have read it will say it's pretty good. Some people find it kind of boring. I don't, but I get how they would think that. Harry Potter is about a wizard named Harry Potter, of course, who grows up not knowing he's a wizard, with his aunt, uncle, and cousin until his 11th birthday, when he mysteriously receives a letter from a place named Hogwarts. Lo and behold, Hogwarts is a wizard school, and he goes off to learn how to be a wizard. Turns out he's the chosen one. Gasp, no way. And a bunch of craziness ensues, along with his two friends, Ron and Hermione. You've probably heard about it 10,000 other places, so I'm not going to run on too much about it, but it is a really good series, and it has not gone out of style at all. Now, the next book I'm going to be recommending is Percy Jackson. Now, this book is great for the whole family. Everybody is going to enjoy it. It's funny, there's adventure, there's romance. It's probably one of the greatest books I've read. Harry Potter is as well, but this is just one that kids will enjoy because there's some comedy. Teenagers will enjoy. Even adults definitely like this book. It also has a bit of Greek mythology in it, so it's really interesting because they have real Greek mythology in it. So be prepared to try to pronounce some names like Hephaestus and Poseidon. It's not easy, people. So basically, Percy Jackson is about a demigod, which is a half god, half human, named Percy Jackson, and he is a son of Poseidon. So he gets swept away on his giant quest to save the world, and this is without spoiling too much. And then he goes off, and it's a happily ever after, and he goes to live with his girlfriend, Annabeth. Yeah, not quite. After the Percy Jackson series, Percy and Annabeth end up on another quest during the series Heroes of Olympus. Both series are equally good. I remember after I read Percy Jackson, I thought the sequel wouldn't be as good, but it definitely is. And after Heroes of Olympus, of course, there's more. Don't worry, your favorite Greeks will be back in Trials of Apollo. So, yeah, if you have even a slight interest in Greek mythology, or even if you don't, this book is amazing, and I highly recommend it. So, go read this book. The next book series I'm going to recommend is called The Unwanteds. Now, this book is basically the Hunger Games and Harry Potter put together. I'm not going to be featuring Hunger Games on this list, but I do highly recommend that one as well. It's a bit more gory, but it's really amazing, so you guys should read The Hunger Games. But back to The Unwanteds. The Unwanteds is basically Hunger Games meets Harry Potter, and it's really amazing. I think everybody would enjoy this book. It's not very popular, it doesn't have a huge fan base, but I would like to change that because this book deserves just as big a fan base as like Harry Potter. So basically, the story centers around Aaron and Alex Stowe, twin brothers from the land of Quill. In Quill, creativity is forbidden. So anybody who's creative is deemed unwanted and executed. Now, Aaron is a wanted. He's perfect, uncreative, just totally loyal. Alex is his opposite. He's very creative and just wants to be free. Alex gets executed, but turns out that the place where they go to get executed is actually a magical world called Arteme, with color and creativity that is actually encouraged, and magic, lots of magic. Creativity is magic, and that's why the leader of Quill wanted to forbid it. So I don't want to spoil too much. Without spoiling too much, Alex wants to show his brother Arteme, and things don't go as planned. Anyways, it's an amazing series that I believe needs way more recognition than it is actually getting, because it's one of the best series I've ever read. No offense, but I actually did like it a little bit better than Percy Jackson and Harry Potter, mostly because it's basically the two combined, but extremely creative, and there's a giant cheetah. What's not to love? The next book series I want to talk about is The Lunar Chronicles. Now, The Lunar Chronicles is amazing if you like fairy tales, sci-fi, or really anything in between. The Lunar Chronicles is basically a bit of twisted fairy tales mixed with sci-fi. It's set in the future, which I really love. It's amazing. I'm only on the first book, and I'm already totally hooked. Now, the first book follows the story of Cinder, who is a cyborg living in New Beijing in the future. Now, she's just your average cyborg in this time, but once she meets the handsome Prince Kai, her world gets turned upside down. Plagues and aliens and tons of things follow, leaving Cinder's world upside down. It's an amazing book, and I highly recommend it. It does have an okay fan base. Really, really amazing. I highly recommend it. There are so many more books I want to recommend, but I decided to end with these three, which is The Mortal Instruments, which is about demon hunters called Shadowhunters. The Hunger Games, which is about a game where children have to go kill each other, called The Hunger Games. And Warrior Cats, which is about clans of cats. It's a lot more interesting than it sounds. There's a lot of drama, a lot of romance. It's basically Romeo and Juliet mixed with, like, Clash of Clans with cats. It's really good. So, yeah, those are the books I recommend. If you have any more, put them in the comments below. Now it's time to get into anime. Now, the first anime I'm going to recommend is Fairy Tail. It was my first anime, and it's for all ages. I really loved it. Basically, it's about a guild of wizards called Fairy Tail, and wizards in this world are not uncommon. You can learn magic anywhere in this magical land of Fiore. And basically, these wizards go around and they do lots of awesome stuff. I don't really know how to put this. But basically, the main characters are Lucy, the celestial wizard, Natsu, the fire wizard, and Happy, the little cat. The first episode is basically Lucy comes across Natsu, the fire wizard, ends up going to join Fairy Tail with him and his flying, talking blue cat Happy, and insanity ensues. Mostly for Lucy, who's not used to this kind of stuff. Anyways, I explained it very badly, but it's a really good anime with magic and adventure and the power of friendship, like with most animes. But it's not like super cliche, don't worry. It's a really good first anime. And if you're not into blood and guts, don't worry, it's not Attack on Titan. The next anime I'm going to recommend is Ouran High School Host Club. It's a really funny, very romantic anime. Mostly comedy, though. I really liked it. It's might not be for the entire family, because little kids might not understand what's going on. Some animes are like that, but it is a really good anime. Basically, the main character, Haruhi, goes into what she thinks is an abandoned music room at her new private high school that she got into just by being extremely smart, and stumbles upon the Ouran High School Host Club, a place where girls with too much time on their hands go to be entertained by guys who also have too much time on their hands. She breaks an expensive vase and has to become a host. And when they find out she's a girl, well, let's just say some interesting things happen. It's a really good, really funny anime, and I guarantee you will love it just as much as I did. The next anime I'm going to recommend is Hetalia. Now, this anime is really, really hilarious. It can get kind of confusing at times, but don't worry, you'll catch on. Basically, it is about personified nations, and the first one you're going to want to watch is Axis Powers, because there are a lot of them out there. Now, Axis Powers basically centers around Japan, Germany, and mostly Italy, as their crazy adventures take them through, like, World War I, World War II. And it's really interesting. It's really hilarious. But there are a few sad parts, but that's nothing that isn't to be expected. But yeah, I do definitely recommend it. It's hilarious. It'll have you laughing, sometimes crying. It's just one of the best. It's really great. My next recommendation is Fullmetal Alchemist. Fullmetal Alchemist is a classic anime. I'm not sure which one's better, Fullmetal Alchemist the original or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, but I do think they share roughly the same storyline, so I'm going to try and explain it. I've only watched the original, so this is the original and maybe the Brotherhood as well. So basically, Fullmetal Alchemist centers around the Fullmetal Alchemist, otherwise known as Edward Elric, and his brother Alphonse. After trying to resurrect their mother using alchemy, Alphonse gets his soul bound to a suit of armor, and Edward loses 2 of his limbs. They are very idiotic children. Once they grow up, they become state alchemists and go off and do a bunch of world-saving stuff, I don't know, until eventually they have to try and find the Philosopher's Stone and save the world, basically. Yeah. So, alchemy in this world is this type of science that uses equivalent exchange. Let's say I have a bunch of wires and metals and all the stuff you need for an iPhone. I could use alchemy and create an iPhone right there on the spot. However, human alchemy, like Edward and Alphonse were trying to do, is strictly forbidden, as you cannot make humans out of science. Well, you could, but not using alchemy. It's a really good anime with lots of action and some mystery, and it's just amazing. And it's got science instead of magic, which I find really cool, but the science is almost like magic. It's so amazing. You guys should really watch it. There are 2 more animes I wanted to recommend. The first is Free, which is an anime about a swim team. It's pretty good. It's got some mild friendship drama, only 1 near death. It's actually pretty interesting. I did really like it. And the other one is Fruits Basket, which I'm going to go into a bit more detail about. Fruits Basket is about a girl named Toru who is living in a tent for a while until she gets taken in by the Soma family. And then she realizes they have an interesting secret. When hugged by the opposite gender, they turn into a member of the Zodiac. Pretty weird. Whether it be Ryuki the rat, Shigure the dog, Kagura the pig, or Black Sheep Kyo the cat, they all have their own specific animal. And insanity occurs when she brings her girlfriends over to a house full of male somas. Yeah. It's amazing. I think Fruits Basket is one of my favorites, and so is Free. But I think out of these 2, I'd recommend Fruits Basket more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next week.